Afternoon. Ready to talk some Darlington. If you listened to Stacking Denny's on Wednesday, I'm sticking with my exact same sentiment. Sportsbooks love Ryan Blaney today. Everybody loves Ryan Blaney today. He looked great in practice. Sticking with my opinion that Ryan Blaney is not good at Homestead. Not good at Homestead. Not good at Darlington. He's not good at Richmond. And until he proves me wrong, I'm not falling for the Ryan Blaney trap. I please, people, come and try to convince me that Ryan Blaney is going to be good today. Denny Hamlin over Ryan Blaney might be my favorite bet of the year. And if you were in the Rotoballer Discord this morning, I forget who mentioned it, but he's Hamlin's plus 130 over Blaney at Circa Books. I was happy with plus 105 at DraftKings. Ryan Blaney's not good here. Until he proves me wrong, I'm sticking with it. Yep, stick with my gut. And I said that. Like Nick and I talked about this. We said this was going to happen. He's going to look really good in practice. People are going to overreact. I mean, he's like down. Some books have him at like 6-1 today. Not sold on Ryan Blaney. The thing with Darlington, though, is there's not a lot of – it can be unpredictable. There's a lot of comers and goers. There's a lot of shit that happens during these races that can affect stuff. So that's why, 6 next-gen races, there's only one driver with more than 2 top 5s, and it's Reddick with 3. You think of how good Kyle Larson is here. You think of how good Brad Keselowski's been here. William Byron has been really good here. None of them have more than 2 top 5s except for Reddick with 3 in 6 races, 6 next-gen races. Speaking of Keselowski, he kind of showed some speed again this week. Qualified 20th, though, so that's a little bit concerning. Obviously, his track record here is really good, and we'll get more into him. I'll tell you what, though, I'm sold on Chris Buescher today. Chris Buescher might be my favorite play today. Here's the thing. 1, I don't like Ryan Blaney this week. 2, I love Chris Buescher this week, and I'm dying on these hills. It's going to take a lot to get me off of him. But you remember, Chris Buescher just finished a very quiet 6th and ran top 5 for a lot of the day at Homestead. Chris Buescher's not that good at Homestead. Chris Buescher's really good at Darlington. We're using the same tires, exact same tire combination this week at Darlington as we did at Homestead, as we did at Las Vegas. Exact same tires. Obviously, Darlington is super abrasive, just like Homestead was. They're both steep tracks. They're both, Homestead's 1.5 miles. Darlington is 1.366 or something like that. But they're similar, very similar. I love Chris Buescher today. Yep. I think a lot of people might be on Buescher today. Look at these comments. Speaking of Buescher, yeah, Priest. Priest is an interesting one, starting on the outside pole. I really think, the Fords tend to have really good long run speed. We see it in guys like Blaney. My main concern today is, like, my projections really like Byron, obviously. Really like Larson. Hamlin's up there if you want a third dominator. My concern is, could Ryan Priest get that lead early from Byron and Byron run second and third for the first stage, second or third for the first stage? And obviously Briscoe's up there as well. Briscoe has typically taken, a full race to get going, to find the full speed of that car. We saw it at Homestead. He wasn't that great in the first half of the race, second half of the race. I mean, I think I bet him live to win, if I remember right, because he was one of the fastest cars on track at the end of that race. And I expect something similar to happen today. I like Briscoe there at 9,100. I mean, we liked him, earlier in the week. Obviously, most recent winner here at Darlington. That 19 car is going to be solid. But something to keep consider, like I said, shit happens at Darlington. And there's a lot of, you could make a case for a lot of drivers to have a good day today. You could make a case for Zane Smith to have a good day today. You could make a case for Todd Gilliland to have a good day today. Todd Gilliland's been decently good here, considering he sucks at intermediate tracks. Todd Gilliland has been really good at Darlington, comparatively speaking. Justin Haley's been really good here in the spring. Michael McDowell has 3 top 10s in the 6 next gen races. So, point being, you can make a case for a lot of guys to have a good day today. So, I think the best strategy with DraftKings, with your DFS lineups, is going to be to diversify quite a bit. Maybe have that one guy, like Larson's a pretty solid pick today. Starting 19th, he should contend for the win. He should be up there. I'm expecting a very similar race like we saw him at Homestead. He didn't have race-winning speed to start off at Homestead. He was the best car at the end of that race, and that's typically what the 5 team does. They get better as the races go on. So Larson's probably going to hang out in the teens, maybe get up into the top 10 in the first stage. He's not going to have race-winning speed till the end of the race. But with those place differential points on DraftKings, that you don't need him to dominate this race. You need to hit the other dominators. Bubba's strong here as well. That's one thing also to consider at Darlington with so many pit stops. They're going to come in and get tires every single chance they get today. Pit crews are going to have to be on it. Bubba Wallace has one of the fastest pit crews this year. He's good here. He's had speed. He was good at Homestead. Hell, he almost won Homestead. So yeah, you can make a lot of cases for guys to have good days today. The only guy I'm off of really is Blaney. Gregson, sneaky play today. Yeah, he's just, and you got to remember, Gregson's hard to trust. I don't like his price point of 7,100, but he's starting 26th. Like, yes, Gregson's going to be good. Hocevar should be good. The front row cars have had speed here. Remember, Michael McDowell, 3 top 10s in 6 next-gen races at Darlington. Todd Gilliland, top 17 in, I think, 5 of the 6 or 4 of the 6. Or like 4 of the last 5. So front row, again, Ford, good long run speed, and that's why you have to like Zane Smith today. You have to like Todd Gilliland, like as a very, very, very aggressive tournament play. I'd rather go Zane Smith at starting 4 spots back, but Gilliland, what if he sneaks in the top 10? Yeah, Josh Berry's going to be good today. Josh Berry was a legit top 5 car both times here last year. Now, obviously, Stewart Haas Racing had they had this place figured out last year. All of their cars were strong here at Darlington last year. But Berry's good here. Berry's good at managing his tires. And, starting 24th, moving up. Yeah, I legitimately think Josh Berry's a top 10 car today. His practice times look good. If he would have qualified better, we'd possibly be talking to him about a top 5. So yeah, Josh Berry's one of my favorite plays on this slate, to be honest with you. I actually like him more. I know a lot of people are gonna like Brad Keselowski down there in that price range because of his track history, but I'd rather go Berry. Let's get this on here. Yeah, Kyle Busch. I mean, Kyle Busch, if you look at the fall off times from practice, because that's what we're worried about today, right? Is tire fall off on the long run. And unfortunately, John Hunter Nemechek spinning out in the middle of Group 1 kind of just fucked us when it comes to data for Group 1, because I think the highest anybody got in that session was like a 15-lap run. It was right in the middle of their runs. And so we don't really have any good data to go off of from that first session or first group. But that was also the weaker group. So I'm glad that we got pulling up the tire fall offs here. I'm glad we got the data that we did for the second group, because they were the stronger group for sure. Switch this screen out real quick. No! All right. So looking at this, you know, let me pull up the actual lap averages here. So Blaney was best in 2025 30 lap average. He always outperforms, or he always performs well in practice. Like, we're going to get that out of Blaney every single time. His fall off's going to look good because that's just the Ford way. You know, like, Fords are really good on the long run. And Ryan Preece was right there in speed as well. Kyle Busch was third when it came to 25 and 30 lap average. And Larson was fourth. Now, if you look at these fall offs, so we're comparing their 5-lap average to their 15-lap average, their 5-lap average to their 20-lap average, 5 to 25, and 5 to 30-lap average. Just comparing and seeing how much they fell off. Kyle Larson fell off 3/4 of a second per lap between his 5-lap average and his 30-lap average. The only other person that was under 0.8 of a second under those same comparisons was Kyle Busch. If you remember back to last fall, who definitely had one of the best cars at the end? Kyle Busch. So yeah, Kyle Busch, I honestly think can win this race. Now, am I betting on him? No. Is he getting bet down? Absolutely. I think when I just checked FanDuel, I think he's at 13-1. When I checked last night, or when odds opened again last night, you could have got Kyle Busch at 18 or 20-1 at various books. So I do think money's coming in on Kyle Busch, and rightfully so. He has a very good car this weekend. He could have won here last fall. I think he can win. I do. That's tough. Because neither of them practice worth a shit. But I think Bell is a better play than Logano. My only concern, and this is not a legitimate concern, but I continue to jinx people. Whoever I pick to win, I jinx them. I picked Christopher Bell this week. It's happened every single race this season outside of Coda when I picked SVG and he finished like 6th or something. But every other time I pick somebody to win on Stacking Denny's, they finished 20th or worse, or something ridiculous like that. So that's my only concern about Bell. But Christopher Bell has been a top 5 car here at Darlington more often than not in the next gen era. Didn't look good in practice. Didn't look good. Qualified mid-pack. I think he'll be fine. I still love my bet of Bell over Blaney today. Why am I off Blaney today? There are just certain tracks that guys are not good at. Ryan Blaney is not good at Darlington, and he is not good at Richmond. The only good race that Ryan Blaney's ever had at Darlington was when he started on the pole, and I think he led 22 laps, or he didn't lead more than 30 laps. How many career top fives does Ryan Blaney have at Darlington Raceway? You don't even have to look it up. He has 0. 16 career starts. He has 3 top 10s, not one finish better than 8th. There are some tracks that guys just aren't good at, and Ryan Blaney is not good at Richmond, and he is not good at Darlington. 2 very high tire wear tracks. Now, I understand he had an absolute rocket ship at Homestead, and I understand that eventually he's going to get a good result here. I understand he looked great in practice this week. He looks great in practice every week. The fact of the matter is Ryan Blaney's not good at this racetrack, and until he proves me wrong, I'm staying away. And especially weekends like this where everybody's like, oh, Blaney looks so good in practice. Blaney had a good car at Homestead. They're using the same tires from Homestead. Blaney was super fast at Las Vegas. Arguably the best car last year. What? When he wrecked on like lap 2? I will wait until Ryan Blaney proves me wrong. I'll die on this hill. If I'm wrong, please come at me next week. If Ryan Blaney wins this race, please come at me next week. But Ryan Blaney's not good at Darlington. Just like he's not good at Richmond. The only good race he had at Richmond was when he put it on the pole. And then as soon as he fell back, he turned into his old ways. He's not good. He's not good at high tire wear tracks unless he has an absolute rocket ship like he had at Homestead. Dude, I've looked so much into Blaney this week because I know so many people are on him, and I just want to shout from the rooftops to be. This is the week to be contrarian on Ryan Blaney. I truly believe that. Again, I'm gonna be wrong one of these times, but right now it's 16 for 16, not being or being completely right about Ryan Blaney at Darlington. If we're going just off of practice speed, Zane Smith would have 3 wins by now. Ryan Blaney is another one that always practices better than he actually races, as does Zane Smith, as does Ty Gibbs. Now, there are races that Ryan Blaney has the best car. There are races that Ryan Blaney dominates. I do not see it being this weekend. I don't. I'd rather go anywhere else. He might get a career best finish today. How about that? But a career best finish would be what, a 6th? Enough place differential for Justin Haley. What do you think his ceiling is? Well, I like Spire cars. I think Spire has speed. I like Justin Haley at this racetrack. I don't think enough people are talking about him today. I mean, the guy has 3 top 10s. He's finished top 10 and the last 3 spring races here, including in a Rick Ware car. Like, plus he just finished top 10 at Homestead. So I think there's enough place differential for Haley, him sitting at 62 and he's probably going to be a little, I mean, people aren't going to go to Todd Gilliland or Zane Smith over him this week. I think there are more tournament plays, but Justin Haley, I would consider a tournament play because I think most people are going to go down, if they have to, go down to Ty Dillon, or they're going to hit the other Dillon brother. Not that you really have to dig that deep this week. Yeah, difference is Blaney has a championship and those guys. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, he's going to prove me wrong one of these times, but until then, I'm standing on this hill of I'm not taking him. I'm not falling for it. think Byron grabs early laps led and finish. Yeah, I think Byron can win this race. He's arguably been the best, most consistent here at Darlington in the next gen era. So yeah, Byron's going to be strong. And remember, like, he was another one of those guys that his practice speeds weren't worth a shit. I don't know what happened. I mean, from 5 to 15 lap average, he fell off almost a second and a half. So I didn't really dig in deep to it to see exactly, what caused that. But obviously there was something happened there. But Hendrick cars are so good on the long run. I have no worries about that. The only worry I have is if someone like Priest or Hamlin or Briscoe gets up there and takes the lead from him early. But my projections love Byron. I love Byron today. 2 punts, 59 and under. I mean, Ty Dillon's the obvious one. Let me get the other screen on here. So Ty Dillon's the obvious punt down there at 5,300. He should probably be a mid-20s guy today. I don't trust SVG. I think on a good day he finishes about 30th. So I'd probably, much as I hate to say it, I'd probably go John Hunter Nemechek if I had to. Maybe, like, to me, all these guys are the same. Maybe Austin Hill. I don't know. To me, Austin Hill's upside is 30th as well. I'm probably not going 2 punts that low. At max in that range, I'm going Ty Dillon, and that's about it. Yeah, I think Hamlin can win this as well. I mean, what? He's a 4-time winner here. Top 5s in 13 of 25 starts. So that's a good question. That is a good question with Cindric. Because the biggest issue is his price. So you need him to lead. And I don't know if I trust him. Like, do we really think Cindric's going to lead over Larson and Hamlin and Priest and Briscoe and probably Reddick? And by the time that Cindric actually gets up there, did I say Larson, Kyle Busch, like all those, like he would have to outrun those guys. And I just don't see it happen. I don't see him outrunning all of those guys. That's my problem with Cindric starting 6th. I could see him running 4th all day, but that's not going to get him. That's not going to, when you have the place differential plays around him of Keselowski, Berry, Jones, even though they're chalkier, pivoting to Cindric probably isn't the right play there because he's going to have to lead quite a bit. So I do like what I'm seeing out of Cindric this year, but I'm not seeing that as a good a strong tournament play today. Maybe like a sprinkle here and there, but Chastain, yeah. I mean, you have to like Chastain at this. Plus, he just ran the Xfinity race. But you have to, like, he's good here. He's probably got a top 10 car. His fall off didn't look amazing in practice, but to me, there's nothing to say he's not a top 10 car. I think Chastain will be fine. He probably won't get there till the end. It's probably going to take him, half a race or 3/4 of the race to actually get up there. But, starting, where does he start? 21st? 25th? Yeah. to be a little bit on the safer side in that price range. And even getting off of Bowman if you wanted to. Bowman's not that great here. Obviously, you have to have exposure to him. My projections really like him starting 33rd. But that's where I'm talking about, like, maybe pivoting to Busher off of Bowman. That's a spot that I like this week, is pivoting off of Bowman to Busher. Because who's to say Bowman doesn't have an issue? Who's to say Bowman doesn't get up past 18th? I think Busher can win this race. Busher might – I might be going all in on Busher today, which I don't. I mean, I've done it before at road courses. I've liked Busher a lot at road courses for a long time. But man, everything I'm seeing about Busher today, I like. He's really good here, and nobody's talking about him. That's a good question. Find yourself building more 2 dominator lineups with Larson as one of the dominators, or 3 dominator lineups with Larson as 1 dominator. Is there too much value? So I can go either way, because to me there's very strong value in going top heavy. Like, it's not that hard, because it's not that hard to go Larson, Hamlin, Byron, and still have, you go Ty Dillon. Let's say you jump up to Justin Haley. You can still grab Keselowski in this lineup. You can still grab Josh Berry in this lineup. So that's where the Ty Dillon cap relief really helps, because you get essentially 3 dominators here with Hamlin, Byron, and Larson, but you still have a spot in that mid-range to go with a Keselowski, to go with a Josh Berry, to go with an Eric Jones, who's really good here, to go with a Noah Gragson if you want. And hell, if you go with Noah Gragson here, you don't even have to go down to Ty Dillon. You could come up and grab Zane Smith. If you didn't like Justin Haley, you can come up to Austin Dillon. But you can still get those mid-range 7 or 8K guys. Now, you can't get multiple of them, but you can definitely make it work this week with, when we got Larson as the highest priced driver at 10.5, it doesn't take a lot to put together a 3 dominator lineup. Like, I have no issue with this lineup right here. Because you got Byron, Hamlin, Larson, 3 potential dominators. You got Busher, who's a sneaky, could potentially top 5 this thing. Almost won this damn race last year. Has some place differential upside starting 14th. All you need out of Ty Dillon is to not wreck and finish mid-20s, move up a few spots. And then Zane Smith, give me another 11th place finish, Zane Smith. Just like he did at Homestead. Give me another one of those races. If you want to get really risky, jump up to Todd Gilliland. But again, I'd rather go Zane because he starts the few spots back. But cannot forget about how important track position is here. So yeah, you can do this. You could even, if you didn't want to go Hamlin, you can go Reddick. Larson, Reddick, Byron, Busher. You have 4 potential race winners in this lineup. And then all you need is, again, I think it's going to be another week where I talk myself into more and more Zane Smith, but I don't mind this type of build at all. And that's not even taking into account if you want to just get off a Reddick or get off a Larson or Byron and jump down to like a Kyle Busch or something, which opens up the door to, if you want to get off of Zane Smith and still jump up. So you said Hocevar went from 8,500 to 4,500 in what for what? Like Top Chevy or something? Or outright? Yeah, Hocevar has been faster than his equipment, but risky starting 13th today. Yeah. But it's what does he cost? 7,000. It's that weird price range where, you don't need a ton out of him. How many drivers have dominator potential? So typically in the spring race at Darlington, we see like one main lap leader that leads. I think the pole sitter has led over 100 laps every single spring race at Darlington in the next gen era. Like the thing is, if any car pits early, or if any car has an issue and comes in pits, or they take a strategy call or something like that, it's a lot harder to predict fastest laps at a track like Darlington, because anybody that gets new tires is going to have, or is going to grab fastest laps easily. But I like on my list of potential dominators today, like obviously, like the obvious ones are like obviously Byron, Hamlin's up there. Larson, when he gets up there, should put up some dominator points. Reddick, Kyle Busch should both be able to put up some. Even Ryan Preece. So realistically, probably like 8 or 9 could potentially have upside to dominator potential. Lineup wise, I'd stick to the 2 or 3. Thoughts on Austin Dillon? Arguably his best track. My projections love Austin Dillon today. I actually think that's I'll show my optimal projected here in a little bit, but I want to get this lineup in from before, the one with Hamlin in it, Zane Smith and Buescher. This is that same one that I just put in, just with Hamlin instead of Reddick. Bell might get even with Chastain today. I don't think he'll do that. Christopher Bell's not that type of guy. Just don't see that happening. Yeah, probably trying to fit. I mean, definitely 2, 3 if you can. It kind of depends on where you go. But yeah, 2 or 3. If you go in that mid-range price, you could probably get 4. Eric Jones starting 34th with his track record. Yeah, and he had like the third. What was he? Third fastest in practice. My concern is like that car has not had a ton of speed this year. Even so, I mean, I have my concerns about Eric Jones. This weekend. And it's always been, Darlington has always been, this is the place to pick Eric Jones. It's just not as guaranteed here. But yeah, starting way back in 34th, it's going to take him hitting the wall for him not to move. Like to me, he's a pretty much lock for a top 20. So yeah, Jones will be strong today. Good question. Do I trust my optimally projected lineup? So let me pull that up real quick. And So my optimal projected today is Larson, Byron, Kozlowski, Barry, Jones, and Austin Dillon. Yeah, I have no issue with this lineup. I think it's pretty safe. I think it's a pretty safe lineup. You got your early dominator in Byron. Obviously Larson has the place differential. Everybody else is just place differential here. So what this lineup is relying on or hoping for is Byron to be like the previous spring pole sitters at Darlington and lead 100 plus laps. That's what you need out of this. Do I think that this is going to be the optimal lineup or has a chance of being the optimal lineup today? No. I think it's going to take 3 like core dominators. I don't see Keselowski being a dominator. If this had, honestly, I'd like if I had to tweak this, I'd go Buescher over Kez, and then I'd go Justin Haley over Austin Dillon. That is a lineup that I could potentially see taking something down. So yeah, I do trust my optimally projected. I think it's pretty safe for like a cash lineup, but I'd rather go with something like this in tournaments. Again, I'm so sold on Buescher today. If he if he pulls a Zane Smith and he nails the wall on lap 4, I'm not going to be a very happy camper. But I think Buescher's going to be so strong today. I like Josh Berry, I like Eric Jones, and then Justin Haley's Justin Haley. And if you really wanted to jump down and grab, like a Zane Smith or something, you could do that too. So lock that one in. Having both Priest and Byron as dominators on the same team. I don't see a problem. I honestly don't see a problem with that because you got to remember this is a 293 lap race. There's a ton of laps to run today. So even if like Byron dominates stage 1, let's say Byron leads the first 70 laps, or however long the fuel run is, and then Priest comes out and leads the next. Like, to me, they could both. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised if they both finish top 5. I mean, I don't want to get that aggressive. Nobody's going to be surprised if they both finish top 8 today. And if they both lead 60 laps and get some fastest laps, I can't believe we're talking about Ryan Priest as a dominator. Man, that team is just doing a lot better than I expected. But no, I don't think it's a death wish to go top 2. Now, would I rather go Byron Hamlin? Yes. But I don't see any issue going Priest either. So I don't think that I've been too high on Custer this week. I like Custer at flat tracks. And that team just, I don't know. That this season, I know they ran into a lot of bad luck, but it's so hard for me to trust Cole Custer. Which, of course, this will probably be the week that he, pulls off a top 15, but I'd rather go with Custer on flats. No, I don't think. I think it is. I think Byron leading the first 100 laps or however many laps, dominating the first portion of this race, let's say, definitely decreases the chances of Priest dominating to an extent. but also the upside and opportunity for Priest to lead early and Priest be the early dominator. I can also see Priest being the early. I think it's more likely actually for Priest to be the early dominator and then Byron lead later in the race. Let's say Priest leads, or let's say green flag waves, Byron leads the first 10 laps, Priest overtakes him on lap, 15. Priest leads 60 laps, and then Byron gets it back on pit stops. Again, I forget how long green flag runs here, but Byron gets him back on pit stops, and they just swap like that. Could definitely see that playing out. Yep. Gilliland spring results here. I just don't think he has starting 12th is, oh man, you need him to have a career day at $6,100 starting 12th. I would much rather go Haley. I'd much rather go Austin Dillon. I'd much rather go Zane Smith than the potential upside of Gilly. And I love Gilly. If I'm gonna be on Gilly today, it's probably not going to be DFS. I'll just bet him for a top 10. That's where I'm at with Gilliland. If you like Gilliland today, if you believe in Gilly, which, we all do, he's made us how much money this year. But if you like him that much, just bet him top 10. Because even if he gets a top, let's say he still finishes 10th today, that doesn't guarantee him into the optimal starting 12th. So if you like Gilliland today, just bet him top 10. I think you can get him at plus 650. Obviously, it's not like a plus 950 that we got last week. But I'll tell you what, last I checked, Michael McDowell was still plus 800 for a top 10. He has 3 top 10s in 6 next-gen races here. He's starting 10th. There's a lot of lower range top 10 value this week that I like. I locked in Justin Haley earlier this week at 11-1. Don't mind betting Gilliland. Again, if you really like Gilliland today, I'd rather go Gilliland bet-wise, grab him for a top 10 on the betting side, and then just stay away from DFS so you're covered there. You can still root for him. I think Zane Smith could finish top 10 today. I think Justin Haley could finish top 10 today. Michael McDowell, like I just said. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. That's similar to what we just did to Larson, Byron, Busher, Jones, Barry, and Zane. I'm curious where we could go if we went down Ty Dillon. So you go Larson, Byron, Busher. I was hoping to get up to Kez. Do we trust Ty Gibbs this week? Top 5 contender both times last year. Man. If I understand this lineup is staying away from literally all the place differential upsides. But obviously, Larson's Larson. Byron, early dominator. Love Chris Busher today. Ty Gibbs, top 5 here last year. Kyle Busch almost won this race in the fall. And then again, you just need Ty Dillon to finish this race. and finish mid-20s with this line. I hope I didn't just talk myself more into Ty Gibbs here. All right. Let me catch up here with some. Yeah, I think my optimally projected lineup's more definitely more of a cash game type of lineup. Core manufacturer correlation, not really. I'm not really taking that into consideration this week. I do think the Fords are the best on the long run. But Hendrick's right there too, and then I mean, hell, we saw how good the Toyotas were at Homestead. So torn between Jones and Haley. Is that for FanDuel or what? That for DraftKings, that's a huge play or price differential. I think Eric Jones is a solid, safe option to finish top 20 and move up from 34th or wherever he starts. Justin Haley's definitely a tournament play, though. I think Haley can finish top 10. So Jones is safer, but Haley is the sneakier play, but upside is definitely limited. But I would say potentially has higher upside. Ty Gibbs is on your blacklist. You screwed me so much. And I think a lot of people think like that. But he's eventually going to have to start running well again, right? So you got to buy low sometimes with these guys. And I know, like, every week I say Zane Smith is beyond dead to me, but I still end up picking him. Yeah. And that's kind of my concern with Gibbs. And you know, maybe last week was a fluke. Maybe last week was a fluke, but Ty Gibbs looked like the old Ty Gibbs last week for the middle portion of that race, or middle to late portion, right before he spun. But I agree. I think it's his new crew chief that they just are not on the same page. How much Bowman is too much? You know, obviously you have to have exposure, but if there's one guy starting in the back that I'd go underweight on today, you know, with a mass entering, it would be Bowman. He doesn't have the strongest track record at Darlington. So I get it. He's starting 33rd. He's starting 33rd. Who's to say he won't get up to 18th and stay there? And that's my problem with him. Because that would be a relatively normal race out of him here. So you're paying up at 8,300 for place difference. Or who's to say he won't get in some trouble early, get in trouble, you know, racing in the pack, getting back there. Not to mention the bad pit stall because he qualified so bad. I know he's good at high tire wear tracks, and you have to have exposure, but in a single entry build, I think I might stay away from Bowman. Because I think both Keselowski and Barry have better chances of a top 10 than Bowman does. And yeah, they don't have as much place differential upside, but the finishing upside is better. Do a lineup with Logano and Bell for place differential. Yeah, let me let's see what we can do here. So we'll start off Logano Bell, which, Logano's good here. Logano was awful in practice, and the fact that they qualified 18th was actually good for that team. So if you start with Logano Bell, the question is, do you want to go Larson or Byron? In my opinion, you can go either way. Let's do Byron here. Stick Byron on there. Gives us 7,100 for the last 3 spots per driver. Give me a Josh Berry for now. So Bell, Logano, Byron, Josh Berry, Eric Jones, Zane Smith. I'm not sure that has the Dominator upside. This lineup would require Byron to dominate for sure. Could also go something like this. Go like Reddick Priest. If you didn't want to go Reddick, you could go Jones, Larson. Again, you're relying on an early Dominator, but this at least gets you like a Larson in there. If you want to go Hamlin, could go Gibbs. You could also go Barry over Jones here. So there's a lot of different ways you could go there. I definitely recommend, though, trying to get a second dominator on there. I'm gonna land on Busher so many times today. I already know that's gonna happen. What if we do this? Go down to Jones. All right. Give me Byron. Give me Bubba Wallace. Without, I'm a little gun shy going. Priest. I don't want to go Ty Dillon. Yeah, Bubba has fall off on practice every time, though. Like, it's kind of his thing. I like Bubba Strong here. Was really like he had fall off at Homestead too. That was my main concern, and then we saw what he did. I mean, he almost won the damn thing. So I like Bubba this week. It's just it's a tough decision whether you want to go Byron or Hamlin or Reddick. If you didn't go Bubba, you could go down to Byron and then grab Kyle Busch. Yeah, so you go Byron. Let's get you off of Larson. But yeah, for a Logano Bell line, I kind of want to get off of Byron though too, just for this line because it's kind of out there. So give me Hamlin. Give me. I'm gonna go Bubba. All right. Do I want Hamlin or do I want Reddick? Give me Hamlin because he starts third. Right. Yeah. It's tough. There's a lot of guys to like this week. It is. There's so many ways to go at Darlington, and it's one of those races where, like, I'm doing these 20 lineups just to sit here and shoot the shit with you guys. Like, I'm not doing my normal 150. I might do like one high dollar lineup, but I'm not super, I can go so many ways with DFS that it's fun, but do I want to throw a bunch of money at it? Not really. I'll enjoy the race and move on to next week. I'm fine with that. But I'm gonna roll with this one. I'm gonna go Reddick, Bubba, Logano Bell, Haley, Austin Dillon. And like I said, you can there's so many ways you can go here. You can go Hamlin. Where's Justin Haley at here? What am I missing? Logano. Okay. Where are we at? The optimal this week. Pull it back up here once this loads. So optimal projected for today is a very cash type of build. Larson, Byron, Keselowski, Barry, Jones, Austin Dillon. And I liked switching this up a little bit and going Justin Haley, Chris Buescher instead. For tournament wise. Yeah, I mean, Briscoe, I don't think he's going to have a car to lead and potentially win to start the race, but they seem to get better as the race goes on. He had a ton of fall off in practice. So that's concerning, but that's kind of the Toyota thing. They always have a ton of fall off. So not overly concerned about it. I think he'll be fine. He's lower priced than he should be, but he also starts higher, which makes him risky. I can't say I'm landing on him a lot, but I can get there for sure. Fun week to max out the mini max. Yeah, I did. I don't know when it filled. I didn't even get a chance to get in it if I wanted to, but I wasn't planning on getting in there. If you want to burn your money and go Blaney, what do you think the ownership will be like? I think my projection on Blaney's ownership is low. I have it at about 20%. I think he's going to be more probably closer to 30% than 20. Blaney and Cindric qualifying good makes me think of Gateway last year. Didn't they? Gateway's so different though. Let me pull up that race because I know I didn't get to watch that race last year. I was working. So it's not like stuck in my head. Gateway. I mean, they ran the race because they started second and third. You know, they qualified 6th and 9th this week. And also, like flatter tracks, it's much more. It's easier to control the race with starting with good track position. It's not really necessary here. How far down the starting grid going? See, that's my biggest issue. I can't envision building a lineup and being like obviously I'm hand building these lineups. I can't envision building one without Byron, Priest, or Hamlin on it. Maybe Briscoe or Bubba, but I don't know if I could build a lineup with Reddick as my top dominator or my highest starting dominator. And I know it's a very narrow way of thinking. It's not the best way here, but I think one of the biggest toss-ups that I'm gonna have this week is Justin Haley or Austin Dillon. I really like Justin Haley today. My projections really like Austin Dillon, so it's a bit of a struggle. To me, they both have similar upside. Haley just finished 10th at Homestead. I think Dillon finished 13th. He fell off on that last round. Thoughts on Austin Hill starting 37th? I can't get there with him. Like you have to have exposure with him starting 37th, and that's the bad thing here. Because it doesn't take him much to put up a good score just moving up 12 spots. Main variables as to why I believe today is such a crapshoot. Just because it's Darlington. Like, it's just the track. It's the nature of the track. It's going to be hot and slick. You know, the tire fall off's gonna create a bunch of comers, goers. Pit crews are going to be super important. We can, if pit crews make one mistake on a green flag stop, you know, that's going to kill a day. Scraping the wall could kill a driver's day. Getting into another driver, like it's a heightened risk of all these things happening at Darlington. It's simply the track. You know, this isn't a crapshoot in the traditional sense of like a Daytona or Talladega, but in a way, like from what we've seen at at Darlington in the past, we typically see a little bit, not chaos, but just some different things happening. Sorry, I'm responding to a text real quick. Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Barry, then either Haley or Austin Dillon, either Ty Dillon or John Hunter. Yep. Can definitely go that route for sure. I just could also, if you don't want to, it's so tough to know which way to go in that mid 7,000 price range, like 7 to 8. Getting any dinger this week? I probably should be. I'm not getting to it. Like, I loved him at Homestead, remember? Darlington just hasn't been great for Allmendinger. I can see the upside of comparable tracks, but as far as Darlington specifically, not sure I'm I'm really getting there on Dinger. Any of the 6K guys sticking out more than the others? I'm assuming you're talking like 6K and below. No. Maybe John Hunter Nemechek, but even then, he's not that great here. I think I'd much rather take a chance on the Zane Smiths at 6K or the Haleys or the Austin Dillons in that price range. Other than that, I'd take the cap savings of Ty Dillon and try to upgrade somewhere else in the lineup because the other guys are just you're hoping for attrition with a lot of those guys. I've seen a couple comments on here going Byron, Larson, Hamlin. I'm curious what my projections say when you lock those three in. So if you go Larson, Hamlin, Byron. So top projected with those three is Barry, Austin Dillon, and SVG. And then you could also go Haley and Reddick instead. I'm a little worried about Reddick just because he wasn't so good at Homestead. But there's like, I also find it hard to believe that he's not going to find the speed at. I mean, he's so good here. But that's just another one of those. Like to me, Reddick and Hamlin are toss ups, and they're $100 apart. Haley and Austin Dillon are toss ups. I think I'm going to go with this one though. The Larson, Reddick, Byron, Barry, Haley, SVG. Best pit crews. Bubba Wallace has had one of the best all year. Larson's been pretty good this year. Larson made some. They made some changes this week to their team. I was kind of surprised that they did. Larson, Bubba have been really strong. Who else is up there? All the Hendrick guys are really strong, and then you got the Gibbs cars. But definitely, I think Larson and Bubba are a little bit strong, like a little step ahead above everybody else. Yeah, you could go Dillon brothers there. Larson, Reddick, Byron. Yeah, Barry. And that's the tough thing with with all of these lineups because you can just make those small changes of two guys. Like this one is the same one as before, except you're going Austin Dillon and Ty Dillon instead of Justin Haley and SVG, and it's the same thing. And you could like those little when you have such toss-ups between guys with $100 differences, you're able to create all these just small variations of lineups, but at the same time they're kind of completely different because of the different possibilities. And then if the actual core of those lineups is dog shit, then you're dead in the water anyway. But there's so many ways to go. I'm going to put this one in, then I'm going to come back to this. And I bet you know where I'm going back to this at. It's the guy I've been hounding on about for most of this stream. And it's the same, like Austin Dillon, Haley, $100 apart. SVG, Ty Dillon, $100 apart. Hamlin, Reddick, $100 apart. So he's got all those variables. But you go Larson, Reddick, Byron. Instead of Barry, give me Chris Buescher, Zane Smith, Ty Dillon. I've been to like 2 hockey games in my life, so I can't say I'm a hockey fan, but that's pretty cool. I think I saw like a screenshot that they're like had like virtually the same like stats overall. But going back to this, so instead of Reddick, go Hamlin. So go Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Buescher, SVG, Zane Smith. Seems like there'll be a lot of chalk. Can you do a build with switching out Larson with Bell and save 1,000? Yeah, we can do that. It's so hard to bet on against Larson at Darlington. It's like we're getting a gift with him getting place differential, though. You know what I mean? But we can do that. I'd almost want to do, and never mind. All right, let's do Reddick, Byron, Bell. Austin Hill's going to be relatively low owned just because he has very limited Cup experience, and his Cup experience is not good. But yeah, saving 1,000 with Bell just like it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't get you to where it opens up a wide range of possibilities. It kind of just gets you from getting off an Austin Dillon and potentially getting up to an Eric Jones if you price it right. But I still think I'd rather have the Larson. I agree with you. I think Larson's the way to go. Hamlin, Larson, Busher, Barry, Jones, Zane Smith. For the sake of not having a Byron line, I'm going to roll with that. Yeah, I agree with you on the little to no Bell exposure, especially like he's priced really well this week. See what my so let's lock in. Well, let's just see what. Looking at my projections, just locking in Bell. Interesting. So they want to go a lot of place differential here. So the top projected, if I lock in just Christopher Bell, it actually doesn't put Byron on there. So it goes Larson, Bell, Bowman, Barry, Jones, Austin Dillon. It's going. My projections are going a lot of place differential here. The second highest lineup that it has when I lock in Bell, again, the only thing I'm telling it is just lock in Christopher Bell, is it does go Byron and then it goes Bell, Bowman, Kez, Barry, Austin Dillon. Again, though, like I think something like that. You need Byron to dominate half of this race. But then you're gonna need a Bell or a Bowman ain't gonna. I don't think Bowman's gonna dominate this race. So you need a Bell to dominate. Then I'm not sure just place differential is going to get us there. So if you did this same lineup and you came off of Bowman, you could get up to Bubba. I think I'd rather do that. I'd rather go Byron, Bell, Bubba, Kez, Barry, Austin, Dillon. But again, it's the same situation as my optimally projected. I think I'd rather go Justin Haley, Chris Buescher than go Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski. I'm gonna put them both in just to have them both, but I like this lineup quite a bit as a non-Larson line. But it's also no Reddick, no Hamlin. I mean, this is going to take some. This is definitely a tournament line if you roll with this. Where is Austin Dillon on here? Oh, there we go. But again, it's the $100 increments and like which guys you want to pair with who. And I think between the two, I'd rather go Haley, Buescher than Kez, Dillon. My projections obviously like Kez, Dillon. So yeah, you go Byron, Bell, Bubba, Buescher. And then, okay, I'm going to put this one in. So you go Justin Haley and Chris Buescher instead of Kez. Byron, Bell, Buescher. I saw a comment here about all B's. And then Eric Jones, Justin Haley. I'm talking myself more into the Bell thing. Go Larson, Byron, Bell, Barry, Haley, Zane Smith. You could afford Austin Dillon if you wanted to as well. Again, I'm talking myself way too much into Zane Smith. Don't recommend anybody listen to me on that. If you wanted to go off of Larson, though, I do feel like I need some Keselowski on there, though. Should go Hamlin, Byron Bell, Keselowski, Haley, Austin Dillon. There we go. That you read my mind. I was just thinking that. I'm like, I'm always picking between Brad and Busher. And it looks like DraftKings might have opened up fastest laps and laps led, unless Nick's just tracking them now. Yeah, they don't have them up. First week that they stopped offering fastest laps and fastest lap and most fastest laps after practice and qualifying. Oh, damn. DraftKings is down to Byron being the co-favorite with Larson to win today. Checking out these line movements. Kyle Busch down to 10-1. It's like a lot of people are jumping, or like there must be people hitting the books for Byron today. Because yeah, after qualifying yesterday, he opened back up at like plus 850 at some places. FanDuel doesn't look like they changed that much. You get Kyle Busch at 13-1. Hamlin at plus 850 isn't awful. Just seeing if there's any other big line changes at some of these other books. McDowell got bet down for a top 10 at FanDuel. He was plus 800 earlier today. He's now plus 430. Not seeing a whole ton of other movement here. So yeah, if we start the build with Busch or Kez, I'm going to throw Ty Dillon on there just to see what kind of cap space we're looking for. If we go with, let's throw Josh Berry on there. Okay. Oops. Let's throw Eric Jones on there, and if you wanted to go Larson, you could go Larson, Zane. Yeah, so you go like a Larson, Byron, Eric Jones. You got Kez and Busher, and then cap it off with Zane Smith. I'm going to do a couple of these lineups, or these type of lineups. Do you like Ryan Blaney today? I do not. I'm dying on this hill. Ryan Blaney's just not good at Darlington. And and I'm willing to continue to bet against him. If you listen to Stacking Denny's earlier this week, our podcast, basically what we said was Ryan Blaney's going to look really good in practice. He's going to look good on the long runs because that's what Ryan Blaney does. The only way I'd be on Blaney today is if he started on the pole, because that's where I can see him actually potentially dominating a race. I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong at tracks like Darlington and tracks like Richmond. Because here's the thing. People are going back to, and rightfully so, like Homestead is a great comparison track for Darlington. But Ryan Blaney is also very good at Darlington, or at Homestead. And he has been. He's finished second there prior to blowing up this year. The last 2 years. He finished third there in 2020. So Homestead, Ryan Blaney's good at Homestead. But Darlington and Richmond, he's not that good at. And for whatever reason, he just hasn't figured them out yet. 0 top 5s and 16 starts at Darlington. Only 3 top 10s. Average finish of 19.6. Richmond, same thing. Another high tire wear track. I understand that Richmond is a high tire wear, or Homestead is a high tire wear track as well. But I'm continuing with no on Blaney today. Give me a pivot down to Christopher Bell off of Blaney. Give me, I have yet to build a lineup with Ryan Blaney in it today. And I'm not sure I will. My favorite bet right now is, I don't know if it's still available, but this morning it was Hamlin plus 105 over Blaney. You could get it if you have a Circa book. You could get it at plus 130. So also, that's a good point. But Byron's lap time fall off on the longer run in practice was so far off that I think something happened. His fall off didn't make sense. But Chase's fall off looked exceptional. Larson's fall off looked good. I have no concerns about Byron today. Plus, he's been so good here at Darlington in the next gen era. That car has had I mean, had great speed at Vegas. I think at Homestead's that race that they kept running into issues. So I'll give him a pass there. But to me, no, I have no issue with Byron today at all. Which lineup did we just do? We did the one with Zane Smith, I believe. Yeah, so we went Larson, Byron, Jones, Kez, Busher, Zane Smith. Okay. Could do the same thing, but go Haley. Instead of Zane and Jones, go Haley Gregson. Or Austin Dillon. Again, my projections like Austin Dillon over Justin Haley. We're gonna see what my projections like the most when I lock in Busher Kez. By the way, as usual, all of my content, all of my exclusive content, you can sign up for on rotoballer.com. Use code Jordan25. You're going to get 30% off. I think you get the rest of the year for like 100, 120, 130 bucks or something. You're going to get my algorithm predicted finishing order, my DraftKings projections, my full DraftKings write up every week, my bets. Betting card has been absolutely crushing it this year. Like I'm up like 17 units this season, plus 85 units tracked since the start of last year. So you're going to get a lot of value. I think, one good weekend, it's going to pay for your subscription. So definitely check into that. Like I said, rotoballer.com, use code Jordan25. So the top projected lineup. Thank you. The top projected lineup is, again, like my projections really like the place differential this week, which obviously there's a lot of options there for place differential, but it likes going Byron Bowman, Busher Kez, Barry, and then Jones. What if we did that? What if we went Byron Briscoe, Busher Keselowski, Barry, Gregson? Just at first glance, I really like that. Now, this is assuming Larson doesn't come and win this thing from 19th. But I don't mind this lineup. stays away from the 6K guys, the low 6K guys. This does stay away from Bowman. I agree. And I think that's where I'm at, because you look at the lineups that I've done. I haven't done a single Alex Bowman lineup this entire stream. And that's obviously, like, that's not smart. I don't recommend that. But I'm not getting there. And again, it's part of me. I have a very contrarian brain when it comes to DFS. I like taking risks. I'm not completely sold on Bowman today. I think a lineup like this, though, you really have to question whether you're. Yeah, exactly. When you're high on Busher, you'll never land on Bowman, of course, because you're always going to go to Busher. You're always like, and if you have a tournament mindset, you're always going to go to Busher there. I think a big question with this lineup, though, is do you want to stick with Briscoe, or do you want to come down to a Kyle Busch or a Bubba Wallace? Oh, man. Byron, Kyle Busch, Busher, Keselowski, Barry, Gibbs. I agree. I think I like going down to Kyle Busch or even Bubba over Briscoe. Do I trust Gibbs? I'm locking that one in. Byron Busch, Busher, Keselowski, Barry, Gibbs. I wonder what it'd take for me to get Bell in there. So you go Byron Bell, Busher, Kez. Byron Bell, Busher, Kez, Bowman, Justin Haley. There's my Bowman lineup. And my Bell. Fitting Bell in there. I feel like I need to do one Blaney lineup. One or two Blaney lineups. Right? So what if you do Byron Blaney, Busher, Barry, Bowman, Haley? A lot of B's on there. I'm curious what if I force my projections are so low on Blaney or relatively low on Blaney that I'm not sure what kind of line it's going to spit out if I force it to use Blaney. Pretty much what I just did. So top projected, if I force Blaney into it, is Byron Blaney, Bowman, Keselowski, Barry, Austin Dillon, which I just swapped out. It's the same thing as swapping out my optimal. Like my projections go Keselowski, Austin Dillon. I'd rather go Haley, Busher. You could fit Bell in there. Go Byron Blaney, Bell, Gregson, Barry, Zane Smith. Byron Blaney, Bell, Busher, Ty Dillon, Eric Jones. Or go Larson. Larson, Byron, Blaney, Busher, Haley, SVG. Yep, that's gonna be my last one. All right, we got a little over 40 minutes until lock, so I'm gonna hop off of here. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out, like I said, rotoballer.com. Use code Jordan25. You're going to get 30% off. And yeah, hopefully we get a good race this week. All of my content is posted exclusively on Rotoballer. We preview all drivers each week. Our NASCAR team does. If you have not joined my private DraftKings contest yet, I will enter that link. It's in the description right now. I'll also enter it here in the comments. Make sure you join in. It's $10. There it is. I put it in the comments there on YouTube. But yeah, good luck today. Enjoy this race. If Ryan Blaney is as good as everybody thinks he's going to be today, or not everybody, but a lot of people think he's going to be today, I will gladly eat my words and be wrong. And I expect you guys to come after me. Deal? Sounds good. Enjoy the race, guys. Starts in about 40 minutes. And we'll be on to what is next week? Next week is, so we got Darlington this week, and then we got Bristol. Oh, boy. Then we get an off week before hitting Talladega. So, yeah, good luck this week. Enjoy the race, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you.